Hey everyone, happy Thursday and welcome to another episode of Day in Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So I want to start off by thanking everyone who sent well wishes for my birthday, which was yesterday. Turned 54 and still going strong so far, knock on wood. Went into downtown Orange and had a very good burger at a place we'd never tried before called Ojai Burger. Really, really good, super fresh tasting and reasonably priced, I thought. Anyway, so yeah, definitely good. Spent some time with the family. However, after that, I pretty much went into my garage at home and worked until 1 a.m. Really trying to get this bus, this double cab done for this guy. And so last night I was working on 3D printing some adapters so that his little center caps, which look like that little piece here, can be run on the back. And of course, long story short, these wheels aren't really exactly made for these buses. Had to modify the drums a lot and stuff like that. We had to cut down these axle nuts so that they would kind of be able to protrude through the wheel. And so, needless to say, the little caps won't snap on here because they're made to snap onto the surface here, and the stuff is protruding. So, my solution was to 3D print some little adapters, and you can see those hanging here. So they look pretty decent. I think that it's only about 6/10 of an inch in height, and so basically, these, they're still wet. I just finished painting them. May put another coat or so on them, but basically these are going to go, essentially here like that. And then of course the actual caps will snap into place. So there's like a cut inside there. You can see where the little teeth can grab onto. So I don't think it's going to be noticeable when the little chrome cap is on. You'll see this little ring essentially around here that's not quite as shiny chrome as the rest of it, but I don't think it's going to be noticeable. Anyway, that's pretty much the solution I came up with. It would have been better to machine thes out of metal or something and legitimately chrome plate them, but I don't know. The owner can always do that someday if he really wants. But it's kind of quick and dirty here, 3D printing. And yeah, I don't think it'll even be noticeable unless I were to point it out to someone. So yeah, I spent a pretty late night in the garage last night getting those 3D printed, and took me a couple iterations to get it right where I was happy with the fit and stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, so that's one thing. Started on that last night and into this morning some. The other big thing was to finish installing his breather box, which you can see there in the upper right. So I had mounted it yesterday, but I hadn't run any hoses, and running the hoses on these is definitely the most time-consuming part, because you got to figure out how to get those hoses from essentially the valve covers, which is not in the engine compartment, to the breather box, which is in the engine compartment. And so I spent quite a bit of time laying under this car trying to figure out where the best place would be that I could actually get to, because when the motor and everything's installed, you don't really have very good access to many areas at all. And so where I ended up putting them is, you can see right there, and basically the floor of the engine compartment. And so it actually came out very clean. It makes a pretty nice shot up to the breather box. And then likewise on this side, you can see it coming up through the floor right back there. So I'm actually really happy with it. I feel like it's actually a pretty ideal place. I think even if I had been able to get to other places more easy, I still would have chosen there because I really like the routing. And of course I installed grommets so the metal doesn't just chew through the hose. And then you can see, I think you can be able to see under here where it comes off the valve cover. Yeah, there's so much stuff going on under here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Yeah, there. Jeez. There it is. Okay, so there it is coming up off there. and then it goes again into the sort of floor of the engine compartment, right right there. Yeah, so there it is. Little hose just kind of tucked under there. And similar on the other side, but the other side you can't see it because the muffler is there. But yeah, very happy actually with the routing of those. Came out super clean. Pretty time consuming to do, but again, came out really nice, and the motor should be a little happier now breathing. The other thing that I did was I took off this little filler, and basically what I did was I took an O-ring and I shaved it down a little bit on a belt sander until when the thing was like really tight, this was facing straight up. So again, I think the oil mist that I was getting in here was actually coming at this joint where this thing is screwed on to the generator alternator stand here, because that wasn't really tight. Because had it been tight before with an unmodified O-ring, this thing would have been pointing almost like straight back, which is useless. So yeah, that was just kind of it, modifying an O-ring so that it came out facing exactly the way I wanted and was tight at the same time. The other thing I did is I put a little ribbon of thread sealant. Use Loctite or Permatex, I don't remember, 567. So a little bit on the threads of that thing, and then screwed it into there. So kind of double sealed now. The O-ring really good, and then a layer of thread locker. So yeah, got that all in. Huge job actually. But came out good. And like I was saying yesterday, I kind of like, now that it's in here, how it sort of does balance out the engine compartment a little bit. It just gives a little bit more something going on over here, since again there's so much stuff going on over here. I feel like it kind of balances it out. And of course it should take care of any oil mist issues and let the engine breathe a little better. So all good stuff. The other thing was that I figured out was that I'd mentioned before that the speedometer was ticking, and it turns out that the angle of the speedometer cable must have been like a hair too much of an angle where it came at the speedometer. So I actually was able to reach under the dash, disconnect the speedometer cable, which you can see right there, and move it around a little bit and get it where it was a little bit more of a, I don't know, straight shot, for lack of a better word, onto the speedo, and took it for a drive, and that took care of it. Speedometer is very smooth now. However, and this is the reason that I pulled it out, the speedometer, I drove down the road with my GPS speedometer on my phone, and this thing was saying I was doing 70. GPS was saying I was doing 43. So it's off a lot. I knew it was off a lot, but I didn't realize it was off that much. So I found a thread on the Samba where somebody showed how you can calibrate these. Basically what you do is, and I don't know if this works, if anyone's tried this and had any luck, let me know. But basically what you do is you rotate it around to your speed that it's saying, which in this case was 70, and you put a mark there on this drum that spins around, and then you basically hold the drum at that location, and then you grab the needle and you force it back around to the known speed. So in this case, those marks are when this thing was saying 70, held it there, and then gently twisted the needle back to where it said about 43. So I'm hoping that does the trick. I guess when I get it back together tomorrow and drive it, I'll see. My fear with doing that is that it's just putting a really big preload on it, and that what's going to happen is it'll read correctly at 43 miles an hour, but it won't start reading until maybe we're doing 30 miles an hour before it even comes off the stop. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So again, if anyone's tried this before, let me know. Obviously, the right way to do it is with equipment where you have a calibrated known speed, and then you adjust whatever you adjust in there. I've never really monkeyed around with the speedometer in this way, so this is kind of new to me. So again, if anyone has any insight, please let me know. But in the meantime, I've done this and I'm going to try it, and fingers crossed that that does the trick. I'll put this all back together in the morning, take this beauty for a spin, and yeah, hopefully trying to send some positive vibes here that this is going to work. And that's literally the last thing on here, other than putting on those little cap adapters once the paint on those is dry. So that was my day. I didn't manage to work on anything else. Just really trying to finish this one up for this guy so he can get this thing and start enjoying it. So that is it for today, everyone. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.